Joining us now is former Democratic Congressman Max Rose of New York and Jeremy Peters, reporter for the New York Times. Congressman Rose, I will start with you and that lengthy Truth Social post we got from the president. The Pandora's box has been opened here. Do you think he, through some posts and messages through Fox News hosts, can get this thing shut again?
No way. That was the most manic post I think Donald Trump has
and that would be saying something.
Issued. I mean, no, it really would. But what we're hearing from people who have tracked, the MAGA Twitterverse for years now, they have never seen this level of anger from diehard MAGA populist adherents in the history of this movement, because I think it speaks to something far larger than just Epstein. It speaks to a question of whether he has any respect for his base in the first place. Or did he just use them as he used the customers he used to sell steaks to back in the day, or the people that he used to rip off at his casinos, or all the rest? The truth is, as I think we all collectively know, is that he has been ripping them off. But they're now seen in really visceral terms through this Epstein revolt.
I don't know. Trump has been selling all sorts of junk and meme coins and various other things to his base during his presidency. So
Sneakers.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like that big of a break to me. But one thing I am curious about, Jeremy, is that we have known for decades that Trump was friends with Epstein. In fact, he testified, or whatever, was quoted in any event in a 2002 New York Magazine article, which I think we have here, that saying, "I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, no doubt about it. Jeffrey enjoys his social life." What's confusing to me is the Trump base, including Bannon and others, had to know that they were sort of playing with fire here all along in fanning the flames of this conspiracy theorizing. And to be clear, we don't know that Trump did anything illegal related to Epstein, but at the very least, they were friends, and Trump might be motivated to shield his relationship with his friend. So why was this, of all conspiracy theories, the one that the base latched onto?
Well, I think maybe you're giving a little bit too much credit to Trump and many of the people around him to look forward and see how this might have gone, or might go eventually terribly wrong, which it appears that it has. I mean, this was something that fascinated Trump and played into the whole pedophilia narrative that has been so powerful for many of, the QAnon type supporters and just, the regular MAGA rank and file. Because at its core, the Epstein story is a story about these young girls who have been exploited. So when Trump's supporters and the people out there, see that, they wonder why, and this is stuff that I'm hearing coming from them right now this weekend, they wonder, why is it that we can't get answers? Why isn't there justice when Biden's Justice Department was able to prosecute and get convictions for all these January 6 defendants? What about our prosecutions? Where are they? And I think what you're seeing, rather than any type of backlash directed specifically at Trump at this moment, at least, is a real backlash directed at Pam Bondi. I mean, Pam Bondi has lost MAGA. That there's no question about that. And I think there is a real question mark over her future. You have these reports that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have this pact that, they will both resign. I don't know if that's actually the case. But what does Trump usually do in situations like this when his voters are in revolt? He blames someone else. And it will be very easy, given Pam Bondi's public statements on this matter, to throw her under the bus.
But it wouldn't necessarily mean that the issue of Epstein and the Epstein files goes away, because you've got people like Elon Musk now weighing in on this, the world's richest man, who seems to want to throw money at everything to get under Donald Trump's skin, whether it's like backing Tom Massey in his race or whether it is tweeting at the president to release the Epstein files or whatever, it seems that now he's putting his capital into this issue, and I'm wondering what you make of that. I mean, how dangerous do you think that is? How, for the president, I mean, politically, how dangerous do you think that is, Max, that Elon Musk is kind of getting in on this?
Elon doesn't represent the political threat here. The political threat is Steve Bannon. The political threat is Tucker Carlson. The political threat is this really passionate MAGA base that has always had his back, even when he did the craziest stuff imaginable, to include inciting a violent insurrection. But at this moment here, you cannot understate the degree to which they feel as if Donald Trump's team are treating them like idiots. And what's really imperative to bring this back to politics, you can't take the politics out of politics here, is the Democrats are and should be connecting this to a much larger narrative. Donald Trump didn't just run on saying that he was going to reveal the Epstein files. He also ran on the fact that he was going to protect veterans and proceeded to initiate an unprecedented disbanding of the VA and fire tens of thousands of veterans. He said he was going to end forever wars and proceeded to engage in an unconstitutional attack on Iran. This is part of a much larger narrative, one that they shouldn't let go of.
Yeah. How do Democrats, I guess, do that? Like, I want to hear kind of an example of what the message would really look like from some of your colleagues, because, you know, understandably, there's a lot of risk in elements of this, right? The conspiracy, sort of fear-mongering parts of the story. But then there are the very real shared concerns people have about what the Epstein case represents, about power, access and influence, the protection of the incredibly wealthy and elite here in the U.S. I mean, there's a woman serving time in prison right now for connecting clients with people that Epstein, with children, I should say, specifically. But people feel they don't have enough information yet about who those clients were. So is there a way where Democrats can walk that line, acknowledging that there are some very real outrages here, while not fully getting into some of the tinfoil hat stuff?
I don't see a line here.
No line at all?
No, I don't. I mean, Donald Trump released January 6th insurrectionists and said, let's move on to the news tomorrow. What line are we talking about anymore in politics? The guy is very clearly hiding something here, and his base is furious. So
even though we know from reporting there is no client list, do you think there is something that
it doesn't matter that there's no client list, and there more likely than not is no client list. There is more to this story than they are speaking of. Pam Bondi said, case closed, let's move on. You dummies, we're going to get you pissed off about something else. And Democrats should not let that narrative go. And they should connect it to all the other ways in which they have ripped off MAGA supporters.
So, Jeremy, you suggested before that Pam Bondi might be the scalp that is, or the scapegoat at any event. But as we've been discussing, it doesn't seem like that would offer any sort of closure based on what the MAGA base is upset about. So is there a way that Trump can diffuse this, say, OK, I've axed Pam Bondi, and move the conversation onward? I mean, my fear is that he's going to throw out some other crisis that distracts people. Like that seems to be his MO every other time there's inconvenient news. But maybe there's another way out.
And I'm not sure Trump himself knows the answer to that question, Catherine. I think it would be easy to do what you just said and create some type of distraction, some diversion like he usually does. But this is why, you don't play with fire. And they are getting burned from the fire of, the white hot fire of this conspiracy theory. The thing about conspiracy theories is they never end, right? Like there is always something, some nugget, like a kernel, an opening to keep the story in perpetual motion. And there's nothing Trump really can do that's ever going to satisfy people that the Epstein questions have fully been answered. So it's hard to imagine a more self-inflicted way to lose supporters. I don't know, like I said, that's where we are with Trump. I don't know that his voters are going to take this out on him. They usually don't. There's a pretty long history of that. But that doesn't mean that there won't be some serious collateral damage to his administration. And just the look that the message just sends of incompetence, right? And they don't want that.
Well, again, I feel like incompetence, ripping off the voters, all of this stuff, it seems like old hat to me.
Really quickly to your point, I was going to say you've got the Senate Judiciary Committee set to vote on Trump's two most recent controversial nominees, Emil Bove, the Trump's judicial nominee, and Judge Pirro. It's probably going to be a place where the Democrats grill the two of them and drag them into the Epstein files, even if they have nothing to say about it.
There's no doubt. I mean, Ro Khanna has proposed legislation on this, but just to bring this back to how stupid Donald Trump and his leadership thinks their base are, it's just a few months ago that they invited MAGA leadership to the White House, said, come meet the president, come meet the AG, come meet the VP, gave them all these Epstein binders. There was nothing in them.
Yeah, they were furious. They felt duped.
So.
They felt duped and disrespected.
Well, I'm sure some of that feeling will linger as we continue through the next 3 years. Max Rose, Jeremy Peters, thank you so much for joining us.